What if I told you I was the greatest coach who's ever done it? And what if I'm not just saying that because it's me? What if I can like actually prove it? Okay, give me the next few minutes and I have my top 10 reasons of why I am hands down the best coach in this niche. I am Ashley Lorraine, M.Ed, and I have a seven-figure portfolio of properties with no banks, no loans, no debt, just high cash flow. And in this podcast, I want to talk to you about how I do it for me, how I do it for my clients, and why I am the best person to do it for you. Let me first start by saying I've been coaching for a very long time, and it does seem like the more difficult I make things sound and the more complicated I make things sound, people want to sign up. But when I just like keep it like to the simple basics, like this is easy, it's literally like A, B, C. Like people don't want that. Like they really like this like flashy, like complicated, I don't know, way for us to explain it. And then they want in. Like when I'm teaching like complex things like mortgage takeovers, owner financing, wraps, things that I know new people are going to have a high, big learning curve learning. Like they're all in it. But when I say keep it simple, just buy a house in cash between 50 and 100K, high cash flow that thing, like let it just be practice without penalty. Let it be your Toyota Yaris as your first car versus a Ferrari as your first car. Like people are like, I mean, it's boring. I know it's not cute, it's not sexy. Yeah, you got to save some money up and buy it, but I'm telling you it's the best way. Anyway. All right, so in this podcast, I want to talk about my top 10 reasons why I know I am the best coach, hands down. So let me just start with number 10. Number 10, I'll go down to one. I am the best coach, period, just based on education. I have a bachelor's degree in education. I have a master's degree in education. In my master's program, I had to get an instructional developmental certificate, which means I can now teach adults like professional development. Like, yes, there's a whole certification that I had to go through to be able to prove and take a test to prove that I can teach adults effectively. Okay. Not only do I have the education, but I also have the experience. Okay. I spent the first decade of my career as a teacher, assistant principal, and an interventionist, working for schools that needed to be turned around. And a lot of you guys, when you think of schools, you think of like, oh, teachers working with students. But what you don't see with us as the school leaders is a lot of my work is working with teachers, working with the, instructional staff, the instructional leaders, working at the district level to develop things that can help support our teachers. So I've been coaching adults for a very long time. And that was just the first decade of my career. The second decade of my career has been in real estate investing, coaching, teaching, mentoring people in this real estate space. So I have experience from all the way down to pre-K, all the way up to being a professor at four-year universities in terms of teaching and coaching and making sure that people can understand the content of the curriculum effectively. It gets measured and tested. Okay, so that is number 10. I would say number 9 is my experience in leadership, and my experience in leadership is very diverse. So you already know I was a school principal, which means I was leading schools that are mostly women. Okay, and I was in a leadership role at 3 schools. It's mostly women, so it's a certain way that I had to lead there. And then I shifted and I had I had a couple of businesses, but obviously real estate investing has been my main business, but we have branches off of that, like a paint and construction business, a VA business, business ops. But long story short, when I moved into the business world, it was the opposite. I was leading all men. I'm leading contractors, I'm leading investors, hedge fund managers, all the way down to wholesalers, like And that's not it. I've been in leadership my entire life. I mean, I got into JROTC when I was 13, moved up to being a captain. I won Cadet of the Year for leadership. Like I have always been high performing. I was the president of Toastmasters for 2 years. I still currently sit on the board for the world's largest nonprofit organization, the YMCA. I have never not been in leadership. I've always been a leader. It's what I do. So I'm really good at leading people and getting transformational results. Okay. Still not convinced? All right, let's go to what are we on? Number 8. Number 8, I do what I coach. So literally, when you come into my ecosystem, you are using my team, my actual systems, like my actual general contractor, my actual attorney, my actual tenant placement agent, like everything. You're using my real blueprint. And I invest in my students who go big. So I always try to make my students go bigger than me, be more successful than me. And I do it because I want to turn around and invest in what they're doing. So, it's my retirement plan. Y'all are my retirement plan. I need you to do well. But anyway, long story short, I coach and I still do. So I am able to give you the most up-to-date information, as you probably already noticed from my YouTube presence. All right, number 7. I have always invested virtually. Since the first time I ever bought my first buy and hold property, and I always tell you guys that story, but I've always invested virtually. And it's been almost a decade. So I've seen how things change, how things were before COVID, post-COVID. Now everybody's doing Zooms and, everything through video. I've been there, done that for almost a decade. So none of this is new to me. And so I want to teach other investors, like, do this virtually. This really should not be a hard job, especially if you're following the blueprint that I give you and you're using the team that I put into place for you. Also with my experience, I've made a lot of mistakes, right? So I can tell you what to avoid. I've done a lot of things right. So I know what to do over and over and over and what to refine. And then I have a lot of good support systems, so I have an attorney who's keeping me, abreast on compliance and laws. I have people who are experts in Section 8 who are attending the meetings and, staying with their ear to the ground in terms of what's happening federally with funding and any kind of other regulations. Like I have built those connections. I got that. I got it. Okay. You're still not convinced. Listen, here we go. Okay, number 5, what I think makes me the absolute best coach, hands down. I am an expert in my niche. Like so much so that I train the title companies. I train the family office managers. I'm the one at the conferences training the realtors and all of the investors and aspiring investors. I'm the ones on the podcast. I'm the one who's trained your favorite influencers, okay? I'm the one who probably trained your neighbor who's secretly a millionaire, owns a bunch of real estate, but just doesn't talk about it. Like I am 100% the expert in my niche. Hands down, nobody knows this better than me. And if they do happen to know anything better than me, I'm smart enough to have a mentor. Okay, my mentor has started with me almost 8 years ago. She's been in Section 8 for 30 years. Like I surround myself with the best. So I know I am the best at what I do. Okay, and not only is my niche and this is going to go into number 4. I have a wealth of knowledge. Yes, I only choose now to talk a lot about like the rentals and Section 8. And, I'm real big about that Ashley method and buying in cash and having high cash flow. I digress, but you have to remember, I still do a lot of other things that I've taught in the past. I just didn't like teaching them or doing them, right? But that doesn't mean that I've stopped doing it for myself. For instance, I have a wealth of knowledge on tax liens, taking over mortgage payments, subject to owner financing wraps, lease options, wholesaling. I still do all of those. Okay, I just made my brand and my content around rentals and high cash flow because that's my favorite thing to teach because I know that's the one thing that if everybody had at least one all cash, high cash flowing property, like you already are on the way to freedom or you can have it with one property. I digress, but I have so much knowledge. So when you hire me as a coach, it doesn't matter what you ask me or what comes up. I have likely had to figure it out. Or if it's something that I've just never heard of, like someone asked me about, what was it called? Fractional notes. was like, okay, I know a lot about notes, but fractional notes I haven't heard of. Cool. I hit up my network. They're like, oh, it's this, and this. Oh, okay, cool. But again, that's an even smaller niche. But in terms of real estate, creative finance, like I got this. I got this. Still not convinced? All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's get to the top three reasons that I know I am 100% the best coach in this game, period. Okay. Let's get to number three. Okay. I'm a fourth generation investor in the same market. So that means not my parents, not just my grandparents, my great grandparents were real estate investors. Yes, my great grandparents owned hotels, stores, retail places. And this is way back then when people who looked like me weren't even supposed to own anything. Okay. They got so smart that they hired someone who looked different, more acceptable to be the face of it. That's how smart and creative my family has been for four generations. Okay, my grandparents also owned real estate. They owned what was back then called an ice house. Anyway, not new to this, true to this. And although I don't speak about my ex or my in-laws very much, but they were also real estate investors, mostly cash rentals. That's really what inspired me to do it, all of my family doing it. But what that means for you and for me as a coach is I grew up in it. I have people I can call, not just, oh, I paid this mentor or this coach, but like, no, I'm going to call my family member who loves me so that we can see who we need to call. Is somebody on the legislature? Is this somebody, a who's who that needs to get a phone call to make sure that I get what I need, right? And me getting what I need means I'm working for you to make sure that you get what you need. And mind you, this is all in the same market. So this is four generations of just great relationships, connections. People, even now, people I went to high school with or grew up next door to, they're now like city officials and, entrepreneurs and just, I digress. The point is there is a lot of power in being a fourth generation investor in my same market. Okay, number two, this was close for number one. My team. Okay, do you know the power of having a general contractor that you can trust with your life? Like that right there solves 90% of problems in real estate investing. Think about it. My GC is in other neighborhoods, so she knows what neighborhoods I should be buying in. She has her ear to the ground with permits, with city planning. Not only that, anything that needs to get done, carpentry, windows, everything. I mean, she is the hub for everything. And we've known each other for over 20 years. Same for one of the attorneys that I work with. We went to high school together. Like my team is unmatched. And I've been working with this same team for almost a decade. Now, some people, move in and out, for some of the other positions, but like the key positions, the major players in my team, we've been solid forever forever. We've learned so much from each other, and we all want you to win. That's the thing about it. We've all been doing this for so long that we're at a place where we're like, we're ready to pass the torch. Like, all right, we the aunties now, we the uncles now. It's time for us to give and to teach and to let you guys rise up so that we can then invest in you. I want to invest in you now. I want to see you grow, be successful, be big, go crazy. Let me help you be way better than me so I can invest in you and sit down somewhere. All right. And finally, the number one thing that I believe makes me the best coach is I am all about attracting my tribe with my vibe. You wouldn't even be here or be listening this long if it wasn't something about you that felt, or about me that you felt attracted to or aligned to. Like, okay, this is where I need to be. So you don't see me out chasing leads and chasing, oh, please come here. No, 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 no. It's all about alignment and do we make sense? And that is the number one thing that you want in a coach. You don't want somebody going for a money grab. Click this funnel, click this, anybody, everybody. Mm-mm. You'll see on anything that you get from me, content, any invite, I want to meet you first. Let's hop on the Calendly, get on my link, and let's talk. I want to meet you because I want you to meet me and see how you feel about me. And I also want to see how I feel about you. You have to think like my private coaching, I don't have an expiration date on that. It's not like, oh, 6 months and then this will be over. Like forever. I want you calling me anytime because my mentor gave me that same, space where I can call her even now today, 8 years later. I mean, I don't really need to, but if I wanted to, I could. And I want to have that same relationship. I've had clients fly in from Israel and come and kick a soccer ball with my kids. So it's just very important that, we get along and we have it. So I think the number one thing too is when I talk about the right fit, um, I had some people who were hesitant because I'm not one of the bros. Yeah, bro, just go get all these loans, bro. Yeah, dude. And he was a little hesitant, he was cool white guy, from across the country and younger and all those things like that. And I had to let them know, like, listen, bro, I'm not one of the bros, okay? I am Ashley Lorraine. I am highly educated. I am a professional at this. And what you get with me is I'm not gonna have a pissing contest with you. I feel like, and I'm nothing against men, but I feel like when you get into that bro mode, is I want to be the best, or it becomes competitive. And as a coach, it's not my job to compete with you or hide anything from you so I can feel like the big man when we get on. No, I'm a teacher by nature. Teachers teach. I'm a mother. I'm a nurturer. I'm a giver. I want you to have this stuff. So there's no pissing contest over here. Over here, I want you to be great. I want you to do good. I see you as an extension of me, as a reflection of me. So no, I don't work with everyone. And I think that is what makes me the best coach ever because I wouldn't even take you on as a client if I didn't know and believe that I can take you from where you are to exactly where you said you want to be. So, look, you can call it bias or not, but I believe there is nobody better at coaching, especially in this niche, than me. You're rocking with the absolute best. So, with that being said, on this podcast, the top 10 reasons that I think I am the number one best coach, I want to give you some, I guess, free coaching advice. All right, so the first thing I want you to really think about, and I'll go into depth in this in a different podcast, but my advice, just as a coach, because who's coached so many people over these 2 decades, mindset is going to be the number one thing. And I know whenever people buy a course, they skip that part of the mindset. They just like, tell me what to do. I was the same way. I'll tell you a story. When I was first building another one of my companies, I invited someone to come in and partner with me. And I remember I was working so hard, like every day, all night. We even used to have this saying of sleep work because we don't sleep. We were still working our sleep, right? But this person did not affirm to that. Like this person was like, no, I don't sleep work. Like I just keep my vibe and my energy right. And I'm like, we're trying to close deals. Like, what are you talking about? But when it came to closing deals, he's closing like $3 million deals, $30 million deals. And I'm still eking by trying to get like these six-figure deals. And I'm like, I know I work more. I know I work harder. I know I'm doing all of this stuff that I know he's not doing. How is he doing it? And he would just say stuff like, I just had to get my energy right. I had to get myself aligned with it and attracted. And I'm like, what? So literally, we stayed on Zoom, just like you and I, and just like I do with a lot of my clients. And literally, I would just watch his routine. Like, what do you mean? And his routine, I had to ask some things too, but some things that I saw for sure was he was listening to positive things. So he's listening to like Joe Dispenza, Abraham Hicks, Eric Thomas, um, Les Brown, Lisa Nichols, just positive people, right? Who are all about just positivity and you can do this and motivation. And some of it is about neuroscience and how the brain works and things like that. But he was constantly listening to that. Another thing that I noticed is meditation and breath work. Him and some of my other partners, they would literally take meditation breaks in the middle of our workday, or they would stop and just do breath work in the middle of the workday. And I'm like, what? Or they would come back and start talking about how they're doing cold showers that week. And I'm like, huh? They were reading, they always had a book that they were reading or talking about or listening to, like just things like that. And I'm telling you, after a week or two, I started getting the hang of it. I was like, oh my God, I get it now. Like you really do need to just have your mind clear, your energy clear, and things really do come to you. So If you listen to nothing else on why I'm the best coach ever, I feel like what I just told you is going to be life-changing. Just listen to me. So I have renamed it. I call it my daily 8. And I strongly suggest you do this. It's just 8 things. They can be quick. They could be 1 minute each, okay? You're gonna read something and don't pick your own books, okay? Read books that you actually need. Like Think and Grow Rich is a good one to start with. A lot of people like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Richest Man in Babylon, The Alchemist. So many. I love books, obviously. I'm an educator. But read something. Even if it's just a couple of pages, just read something. Write something. Okay, that means journaling. And a journal doesn't have to be like Dear Diary, right? Journal could be like just listing what you're grateful for. Or it could just be like writing what you visualize your day to look like to set your intentions, okay? You need to listen to something positive. So I just named some of the people that you could listen to. Um, but you need to listen to something positive. You need to ask or pray. Same thing, ask or pray. And that just means you're being honest about your desires and you're saying it out loud. Okay. And then you need to meditate or receive. And meditation is a time where you're learning to train your brain to turn off so that you can stop and listen and just receive and download, or to just visualize and you take control of your brain and your thoughts and think about what you want to think about. You'd be surprised how many of us walk around with sloppy thinking where we just let our brain think whatever we want it to think. It's talking to us all kinds of ways, criticizing us, seeing everything from a negative point of view. You do know you can stop that and you can tell your brain what to think. But if you don't, it's just going to go into auto mode. I digress. Move something. Okay, you have to have some kind of movement. It can be a full workout, it can be stretching, dancing, lifting, running. I've had people, I'm telling you, I've had people in their 60s fresh off of a surgery, and this person had to sit in a chair and just do like chair exercises. But the movement helps, okay? And then you need to learn something. By learn something, it can just be you watching my YouTube videos or watching a tutorial on something. But the key to learning something is immediate execution. As you are learning, you need to execute it immediately, or it's going to just turn into paralysis analysis and you learning all of this stuff and doing nothing with it. And when I say immediate execution, I mean you should like literally, as you're watching the video and I say do something, you pause it, you go do it. When you come back to the video, listen to the next step, you pause it, and you go do it. That's what I'm talking about when I say immediate execution. So I believe if you're doing those 8 things, you are good to go. You are good to go. And now you're really ready for coaching because now you're open, you're in the right space, you're attracting all of the things that you really want. You don't have anxiety, your mind's not going crazy. You're able to control yourself, control your energy, control your frequency, and hopefully your frequency is bringing you closer to me, the best coach to ever do this. All right, so listen, real estate investing is very simple. Just stick to the ABCs. A, get you an Ashley. B, get my blueprint. C, get my coaching, and you are on your way. That is all you need. As always, if you need me, hop on a call with me. My link to my Calendly is here in the description. And let's have a quick chat. Let's have a conversation and get you going. All right? Okay, guys, I will see you later in the next podcast. Maybe I'll start having people on here. I used to do that, and maybe I will again. I don't know. Until then, I'll see you later.